I'm making a game about pickpocketing. When walking across the city, have you ever wished you could steal the items of the people passing by? No? Well, I have. And unfortunately, that's illegal, so I created a game to simulate that exact experience. Before diving into a project like this, I came up with a plan. And the first thing I planned is what I wanted the prototype of the game to look like. I wanted the prototype to spawn people that can be robbed, and when you steal from them, you receive random amounts of money. The street that the player walks should also be endless, and that right there is a pretty simple prototype that I want to implement to see if the game is going to be any fun before I actually go in and fully develop this game. First, I loaded up Unity.
One eternity later.
Now that Unity is loaded, I can add a cube and make it long. This is going to act as the makeshift road. Then I added a capsule to act as the makeshift player. The player is always going to be moving forward, so I went ahead and added some code, and now he shoots forward. The road is going to have different lanes that the character can walk in, so I need the player to be able to swipe to move its character. So I attempted to add this functionality, and he's moving, but he doesn't stop. I try another solution and voila, now he's moving in the 3 lanes correctly. But I'll change it to 5 soon, so there's more potential civilian traffic. Now that the character movement is done, I'm ready to add some civilians to steal cash from. So I added the second capsule to act as the civilian, and then I coded him and now he moves towards the player. Now it's time to work on the most important mechanic, stealing. I thought of adding a timed mechanic, meaning the player will have to time their steals when walking next to a civilian. I created this mechanic by using a built-in Unity slider. There is this green area that the player has to hit to successfully steal from a civilian. There's no way to steal anything yet, so I added a steal button which will basically act as the timer. Whenever the player presses the steal button, it will stop the slider and hopefully they get it in the green slider. But to detect if the player is close enough to a civilian to steal from them, I added an invisible sphere around the player. So if a civilian is in the sphere, the steal timer will show up and the player will have an opportunity to steal from the civilian. I can't test this feature out yet because I didn't spawn enough civilians. So I added a script to do that, and I think I spawned a little bit too much. Let me fix that. Okay, now the civilians are spawning correctly. The steal timer and the button are now working correctly, but the player isn't stealing any money. I added a money text in the top right of the screen and made the stealing task more challenging. The green area now changes whenever the stealing timer is activated. I also added some code, and now when you're near a civilian and hit the timer correctly, you will actually receive some money. It's close to impossible to hit the green timer right now because the civilian and the player are moving so fast. So I'm going to add slow down time whenever the stealing phase of the game is activated. Now, I can't lie, this game is actually feeling pretty fun, but I'm tired of seeing all these beans and boxes in the game. So I opened up Blender so I can model a character. So this is the character right now, and now, boom, added some color. Then I added some bones to the player so that he can be animated, and I also have to update the floor. So the player and the civilians can walk on a better looking road and add a few buildings. Now I'm going to search for a walk animation, and I'm going to put this right in Blender, and now I'm going to create an animation walk. Damn, that's a valid walk animation. So now that I'm done with that, I need a few alternate characters for the civilians. Okay, these are the 4 characters that we have. Here's the player, and here are the 3 civilians. Now I'm going to add all these 3 characters into Unity. Finally, the road is endless and it goes on forever. This is how it looked before, and this is how it looks now. Okay, so I've realized something. The player can steal from the civilians, but there's a big problem. There's no consequences for not hitting the green area. I added a game over screen, so in case the player misses it, it's going to, end the game if you don't hit the green area. Last thing I want to add for this video is a pause button. It won't work, but I feel like this will complete this phase of the game. And I went into Inkscape, just drew up a quick pause button and imported it into the game. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching it to the end. If you enjoyed it, please smash that like button and make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next part of this devlog series. Next one. Peace.